All right, we're live on YouTube right now. Coming on LRN in 30 seconds.
CopBlock is filmed on location with the men and women of CopBlock. All suspects are innocent, so long as the police are doing the investigations. What's happening, everybody? Welcome Wednesday night back on LRN. CopBlock Radio live coming at you.
Oh, it has been a long time. I'm so glad to be back.
What's up, Severin?
Not much, man. Life is good. We're back on the air. It was a very, very hard project setting up a radio station from scratch, I got to tell you.
I see you got Grace coming in over there.
Oh man, I had the box for the soundboard in my hand, and I was like, can I still send this back to Amazon because I can't figure this thing out? Then as with most projects, you just really got to unplug, let your mind calm down and stop working yourself up, and then go back to it, and it kind of just figured itself out.
Well, that's good. You've been contacted by the government recently?
Have I been contacted? Not lately. I've gone out cop blocking a few times, so I've filmed them, but I haven't really had any contact other than my court case that's going on for my arrest. I had the judge contact me and tell me, surprisingly enough, that the police denied a judge's request for the videotape of my arrest. So I had to go in and fill out official subpoena papers because they denied his non-official, just basic request.
Did you say, look, never mind, I got my own here. I'll give you mine.
Well, no, theirs shows something that I believe happened, which was them entering my car while I was in custody. And I think that's why they don't want to release it, because if they're caught red-handed,
the law by doing that, yeah.
Oh yeah, cop breaking the law couldn't happen.
Nah, you kidding? Nah.
So how about you? How's Ohio?
Ohio's pretty interesting, man. I haven't been contacted myself, but they plan on contacting me on the 9th of February. I'm going to be in court for my trial, and Sergeant Gillespie in Parma assaulted me and then arrested me for it. And I think, as far as I know, that and the thing with the sign with the turn now is also going to be combined. So hopefully by February 9th, I'll have some resolution on what the hell's going on with my case.
I'm looking forward to hearing what happens, because I know you're not up for any plea deal. So I want to see them lose on your case and just look really, really dumb, and then have you sue.
Let me take a plea deal. When I was assaulted and then I got arrested for being assaulted, that's okay.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's one of our stories tonight, is a case that was well known across the country and even the world from over the summer, a viral video. And the world saw a man get assaulted and said it was ridiculous. And that man was just forced to take a plea deal in that assault case.
Who's that?
That James Olsh, the singing man out of Allentown, Pennsylvania. He was seen all over for singing Barbara Ann by the Beach Boys. And the cop approached him over the summer and decided that was a crime at the time, and told James he was going to be arrested. And James tried to walk away, and the cop slammed him face first on the ground. A 62-year-old, maybe 80-pound guy, 80, 90 pounds.
And he's got a GoFundMe for singing lessons, right? I figured that's got to be why the cop slammed him, right? Because he was unhappy. Maybe he was singing in the wrong key. Maybe that was what it was.
Yeah, it's just
get a couple of voice lessons. Do like a month, you'd be okay.
I got to tell you, we were heavily invested in that case because that's a couple towns over from me. and we were protesting. We were at city council meetings. There's a bunch of YouTube videos of all the stuff we did trying to get justice here, and it was really jarring to hear that both the cop didn't get in any trouble ever, and that the end result for James was that he had to take a plea deal for disorderly conduct.
You said that. You said he was forced to take a plea deal. What do you mean he was forced to take a plea deal?
Well, they did their usual game of piling charges on him. So they did
charges on. They can only knock him down once.
They arrested him 2 times before court on other things. One was a hit and run. SUV hit him crossing the street with a cane, and it turns out that the SUV driver was a suspended license and texting at the same time. Well,
so like, why did they arrest him for that? I don't understand.
Oh, because they took it as an opportunity. He flipped out in the middle of the road and hit the car with his cane because he nearly was killed, and they charged him with disorderly conduct rather than the driver because, gee, I wonder why. They knew what was coming. They knew he had a lawsuit against the city, and they were piling charges. They were looking for anything they could. And the third charge that he caught before the case was for singing. Again, he was out singing, and they gave him another disorderly conduct and disturbing.
Again, voice lessons.
So when he goes to court, all this was combined, and his hotshot piece of garbage lawyer gives him the advice to take this plea deal, and he did. So I feel disgusted. I feel like they all just used him, and he trusted his lawyer, and that's something that you don't want to do. Anybody who knows the legal system knows that the lawyers are just mouthpieces for the judges. They just sign everything and get it all in proper order.
Well, you know, I don't like to see anybody take a plea deal, but I mean, you know, you do what you got to do in the circumstances. I mean, if this guy was like, oh, well, we could do 10 years. I mean, for singing, yeah, that's kind of crazy. But when it comes down to it, though, it's the choice that the man made. You know, it's up to him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whatever circumstances fit his needs at the time is what you should do.
And he still does have a civil case pending. I was able to give him a call and talk to him after I heard about this. And he has a civil case pending that his civil lawyer seems pretty sure that his disorderly conduct charge and his plea won't affect a civil judgment.
Oh, that's good.
Because they're not saying necessarily that the cops were wrong for responding. They're saying that the cops were wrong for slamming him and using as much force as they did. I could have restrained this man with one arm. Like, this is to see a young 20-something-year-old punk cop walk up, try to be a hot shot by slamming a senior citizen.
That is actually the trend these days. I mean, you want to talk about what's going on in Cleveland? That's here. You have what's his name? Brelo, the guy that was acquitted of firing 2 clips into 2 unarmed suspects on Cleveland's east side. He was recently fired with like 6 other guys. Now, if first of all, Cleveland's police department claims that they did nothing wrong. They've been claiming they did nothing wrong from day one. Okay, but yet they've handed out over 1,000 hours of suspension or some shit. I mean, I can remember back when it first started, it was the first round was 63 officers were suspended. There was 9 supervisors that were demoted, and 2 of them were fired. And then, of course, he was on trial for his life at the time. So he's on trial for murder. 63 people get disciplined. Another 9 of them get demoted. 2 of them get fired. He's on trial. Then you come and find out that he gets fired along with 6 other people that were responsible for the fucking thing. You have our illustrious Timothy McGinty, who's saying, they did nothing wrong, and that he couldn't get anybody to testify. He said he ran into a blue wall of silence when it came to the Brelo case. So I mean, the whole thing just stinks to high hell. And okay, so we fired him, so now we eventually did the right thing. That's not the right thing. That's not the right thing. Justice is so lost in any of these things anymore. They just, like I said, they pass it off so that it's not it's true. Cops don't go to prison. Cops don't go to prison. We'll be right back.
Yeah, we're about to be going to a commercial break. But we have a special guest, so stay tuned They'll be coming up on the next segment. And we have several more stories. Our top story for the day is the Oregon militia that was fired upon. Finally, the feds decided to act, and they opened fire, killing one of them. And details are obviously still unclear because they like to keep it quiet, as they always do. So we will be right back with all of those stories and our special guests for the night on CopBlock Radio.
Per ounce. Silver is down 3 cents at $14.54.
Yeah, I'm playing some commercials.
Bitcoin is trading at $395 US. We have plenty of new 2016 Silver American Eagles in stock. Get yours online at rrbi.co or give us a call at 800-874-9760.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. I know this sounds unbelievable.
Yeah.
We save as much as 45% off of a new item on Amazon.
Hey, man. Looking good. I like the goatee.
What's
up, man?
Go to saveitpurse.com.
I'm hearing a slight echo. Is that on my end? What's going on?
That's my fault. I got it.
To 25.
Okay, cool.
Everything at it.
Yeah, I know my lighting isn't great and everything, but
that's cool.
What I got.
What's happening, porn star?
Hey, you know I did porn? How'd you hear about that? Did you watch my video?
I did not, but I heard.
I recorded another video today.
Cool. Is that the business you're starting?
Yeah, why do you bring that up? Hey, and, if you're gonna plug it, I mean, do it right. It's reardonporn.com if people are interested.
Why am I gonna plug it?
Oh man, I should have known Derek as the guest is gonna turn the show weird.
Yeah, it's the world's first Bitcoin-enabled. Oh, you heard that? Well, okay, good. This microphone is really good then. It's Bitcoin, man.
I heard it from the person who told me that you did it in the first place.
Oh, okay, yeah. No.
Pretty sure Demo said it, or either he and I or somebody was having a conversation. They brought it up.
Yeah, no, my partner's in the background. He's listening to the show. Great job, guys. I'm really excited to hear the show, and glad that we're on LRN again. This is cool.
I know.
Thanks for keeping it alive. You guys rock.
Have you been listening to it just so far?
No, it's really tough to get good internet in where I am.
You want to know something, man? You said you were in Montevideo. I thought that was someplace in fucking New Jersey at first.
Yeah, I'm in Blockbuster Video.
Yeah. It wasn't until I was watching the Great Santini yesterday, and the fucking kid they were going through the capitals. They're like Uruguay, and it was like Montevideo. I'm like, oh shit, it's in Uruguay. That's not fucking New Jersey.
So I got a lot to talk about. You know, I can't stay on for long, but it's going to be hard to choose of all the different topics.
Well, that's perfect because we don't have any stories for your segment. It's you, all you.
Okay.
It's the Derek Hour.
Cool. All right. Well, let's talk about the photography is not a crime story that I just posted the other day of a guy getting run over, the grandfather who got run over. I'll pull up the story and I'll send you the link. Looks like we're back in 10.
Yep.
Here's a link in the chat.
Breathing, Severin.
We're Gonna be back in a second. Welcome back. We are here for our next segment of CopBlock Radio, and we have our special, wonderful, much missed guest on the line, Derek J.
And the crowd goes wild. Hey guys, what's up? Thanks for keeping CopBlock Radio alive. You know, you guys rock, and it's good to be back on LRN.
Hey, well, when all your business ventures take off and you hit the millions, we expect huge compensation.
Yeah, don't forget some investments over this
like
way.
Ferraris with the CopBlock Radio
skip the
logo.
fucking Ferraris. Just get him all the equipment he needs to run the show correctly. That's all he needs.
Well, it looks like Severin's got it handled very well. I appreciate all the hard work you've put in to make it possible to be on the Liberty Radio Network and take calls and have guests and be live and broadcast to YouTube. You know, you don't get enough praise, so you deserve to be commended. And you had a birthday the other day. Happy birthday to you, Severin.
No, are you not hearing anything?
Who, me?
I think he's
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I actually had it so that it could play the commercials, and I didn't switch that off. That was my bad.
Ain't no thing. So
yeah, welcome back. Sorry about the technical glitch. It is our first show back on the air, and we didn't hit a button when we came back. So we have Derek J as our special guest for the day, and again, we are sorry that your intro was cut out, Derek.
Buttons aren't toys.
We want to hear all about everything happening there. Where are you at?
Right now, I'm in Montevideo, Uruguay, and I'm here on business, growing a new business with my partner, Steven, and we're working on several different products, none of which I can really mention on air just yet.
They just breed their weed in Uruguay. Is it a green venture or?
No, you know, and the weed here, it's worth mentioning just as an aside.
Please.
It is legal here, but they're a communist country, and there's such heavy controls that the government gave the special license to produce marijuana to just 2 companies. And they also have a regulation that says weed must be like $1 a gram.
Wow.
And you would think that would be a great thing, except that it turns out that the weed is really shitty, because how good of weed can you make for $1 a gram? So
Wow.
I don't even bother. You know, I've been abstaining.
What's the law like there? Do you feel pretty free when you're out walking around, or do you have to? But better or worse than the United States?
Show your papers all over the place.
It's tough to say. Like, so immigrations and customs were nothing. I mean, it was just they didn't even ask, are you here on business or for pleasure? They didn't ask how long I wanted to stay. It was just like, oh, you came to Uruguay? Well, you must be here for some reason. You know, walk on in.
How many chickens did you bring with you?
Very easy. Yeah, they didn't ask about vegetables or any of the other stuff. Although they do have a lot of rules. You know, it's a communist country, so like they don't allow imports of milk and dairy and vegetables and stuff. So a lot of that stuff's really limited. So, but as far as police goes, I've seen about as many anarchy symbols as I've seen police officers, and I'd say it's, you know, probably about 15 or so. They don't have a big presence. You will see them in black and white cruisers with the blue and red lights. They do wear their full gear like they do in the U.S. They do have guns. I see them at the bus stations, and they've got some pretty big, high-capacity Glocks. And they look like just standard police, the same as they would anywhere, although they appear to be more relaxed. I don't know if it's because I'm, you know, like not really an immigrant, or I'm a visitor, I'm a tourist.
You're just not seeing it yet.
Yeah, and I'm not seeing it, but I don't see them harassing people. Like, I was at the beach last weekend, and there was a vendor who was selling some clothes out on the beach. And people, they'll sell beer, they sell ice cream, empanadas, whatever you want. And I saw a couple of police officers, some of them in camo with their guns, and they were walking up to the vendor, and I thought, oh no, here it goes. They're going to shut the guy down. Well, no, it turns out they just wanted to check out his clothes, see if maybe they want to buy something.
You got something in my size?
Yeah, exactly. They were just checking it out and then went on their way. Yeah, so it's a pretty free place relative to the U.S.
Is
The police
English
presence.
the primary language there?
No, Spanish would be is the primary language here. Almost no one speaks English. If they do, they speak it very poorly.
Do you speak Spanish?
A little bit, yeah, enough to get by. But you know, I've still been following the news in the U.S. I wanted to mention while I've got time briefly, and I just came across a story earlier yesterday that a NYPD cop. I shouldn't laugh when I see this, but he hit a man while he was driving down the street in one of his police scooters. I almost laughed because the way the guy flips when he hits him it's kind of funny, but it's sad that he would hit anybody. He charged the guy with jaywalking. Just not the kind of thing that you would see in other countries, at least not my experience. When you hit somebody, it tends to be the default reaction that you're concerned, you stop, you make sure the guy is safe and okay, maybe get him some medical attention, apologize. Well, in this case, the NYPD law enforcer thought the right thing to do was to charge this grandfather man with jaywalking, accuse him of endangering the life of an officer by stepping in front of him. And even the surveillance video showed that this guy looked both ways before crossing. It just turns out that the law enforcer was speeding. Go figure, he would break the law like that. And then the most tragic part of the story is not that this man was jailed for 36 hours, for the crime of jaywalking, which is ridiculous in a place like New York City. But further, that his wife died of a heart attack. She was so worried about him while he was in police custody. So, he gets out of jail. He doesn't even have his wife anymore. You think things are pretty bad, like you're just crossing the street, you get hit by a cop, he charges you with a crime, you get out and your wife is dead. I can't even imagine. This is a ridiculous story. It happened on August 7th, 2012, but it was just reported by our friend Carlos Miller over at Photography is Not a Crime yesterday. And I just think it's a story worth mentioning that people just aren't going to hear anywhere else. CopBlock Radio is a great format for people to hear stories like this. And you see on my Facebook wall every day, I'm posting cop stories that people could follow. Friend me or follow me, Derek J. Freeman, because I need your support.
It's great that you're still involved. Like you didn't just leave. So anybody listening that thinks you just up and left activism and ran away, like no. I don't have any ill feelings. I feel like you just went to pursue a dream. Like I've done the same thing. I would have totally done the same thing.
I can't wait to get back to it. I have plans to be back in the Shire. That is New Hampshire by June. So by PorkFest, I will be back in the Shire and working on activism, doing CopBlock Radio and Flaming Freedom and all the stuff I do. But right now, I'm building a business.
So you're going to be broadcasting live from PorkFest with us.
Yeah, man.
Sweet.
I'd have to come to where you are and drag your ass back to New Hampshire if you didn't show up at PorkFest to do the radio show with me.
Nah, nothing can stop me, not even immigration and customs.
We have plenty more guests coming up. We have a jam-packed show. Thank you so much, Derek, for joining us. You're welcome to stay as long as you'd like.
Well, thanks for having me, guys, but I got to hit it. Good luck with the rest of the show. I'll be listening.
Have a good one, Derek.
All right, buddy.
We'll be back with more CopBlock Radio after these messages. Sweet. Later, dude.
You guys, thank you.
Thank you. It's been great.
I'll be listening.
Cool. Oh, I miss him.
I miss him already.
I'm just going to throw that story into under Derek so that I can do the notes properly.
Yeah, do whatever you got to do. Take whatever notes you need to take.
All right, we got our next guest.
That's something that Ademo was trying to get me to do, and I just can't do it all at the same time, It's just multitasking is not my strong suit at all. Plus, I believe multitasking is a fucking myth. You can't. You're paying attention to one thing at a time. I don't give a fuck what you say. If you can't answer a question that I ask you while you're doing something else, then you can't multitask.
All right. Well, if a demo takes too long to come back in, we'll just jump into the militia story.
Yeah. Right.
Anybody watching on YouTube, we just blew our special guest. Our next special guest will be a Damo Freeman. Possibly, if he comes in.
Well, I'm glad you get to see. I mean, you get to see you had the technical glitch. You fucking figured out what it was and you worked it out. You see what happens. You could see. You know what I mean? Like now you have something on a checklist that you can check when something goes wrong.
Well, it was pretty quick because I remembered I had the audio switched over for the commercial, and I did what I said I was going to do. I switched my microphone back on, but I forgot to switch it on the soundboard.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that now you'll be able to recognize that. You'll be able to, oh shit, and like you'll catch it before Ian will catch it, maybe.
Yeah.
That's when you got good at it, because like when you catch shit before he does, because you can't have that dead air. They can't have that dead air. We can't have that dead air. That's why I have all the anxiety.
Oh, here he is.
I'm so afraid of the fucking dead air.
What up?
What's up?
Not much. How you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, like 2 minutes, don't we?
Yep, 2 minutes.
2 minutes. How's it been going?
Good. Just got off with Derek.
So
He sounds pretty clear from over there. His connection's pretty steady.
that can't be true because this is the freest country on the planet, and we have the best
We have the best everything, goddammit.
best internet. He probably doesn't even have Whack Arnold's. Yeah,
Don't be so sure.
I never know, man. The freest country on the planet, man. Everything's the best here.
Ha.
Ha. Ha.
I still don't have my cigarette.
Who's up after me? How long am I on for? Half hour?
I have you scheduled till the 10:43 time slot,
Okay.
but we had a cancellation, so you're more than welcome to fill 2 slots if you want.
Okay.
Whatever you want to do.
However it rolls.
I thought that they were. Check under your thing.
Someone's threatening to sue me if I don't remove comments from the website.
Nice.
If I don't remove comments from the website, I'm so sick.
How are they going to sue you for other people's comments?
No.
All right.
They don't know either. They're just talking shit.
We're coming back. Welcome back. We just got off the phone line with Derek Freeman, and now we have Adamo Freeman as our next guest for the day.
Are you guys brothers?
I was just going to say that we're not. It always happens too. When Ian and I were on the show together. It was like,
Hey, it's my show. I got to say that shit.
No, we're not related.
Get to know the CopBlock family.
Right. We're all brothers in a way, I guess.
So what's up? What's up? You have, like, there's always something going on with you. Anytime we talk to you, there's some new news. So since we've been on the air last, I think our listeners have heard that you were tied up in Noblesville. Do you want to update the audience on what happened there?
Well, sure. I guess there is always something going on, I guess, in our world. But I guess Noblesville is the question. And so Brian Sumner, and I were doing the MAC tour, and one of the first stops was the Noblesville Police Department, or Noblesville, Indiana, and we spontaneously chalked the police department, ended up getting criminal mischief charges, which ended up bringing us back to the Indiana/Southern Ohio area, where we spent like 2 months trying to, plead out those charges, essentially. And, at the end of the day, that's what we did. Ended up doing. We took plea deals, ended up paying him like $200 more bucks. And at that time, we decided that the MAC tour couldn't continue in its capacity. So, though there's usually something always going on with me, I guess right now, since it's winter and the Mac tour can't continue on, there isn't a whole lot more going on other than, doing the usual daily grind at the CopBlock.org. So that's basically it in a nutshell.
Well, I mean, you want to. I read your blog. You said you wanted to get out over these next few months and try to go cop blocking with some groups, right?
Well, yeah, I'd be interested to do maybe some weekend things or something, along those lines. If there were folks that were down and interested, nothing too major. And in fact, in spring, that is kind of my plan with MAC, which is the Mobile Accountability for Cops RV, is to venture up to PorkFest in June, and then just kind of trickle along the way, stopping at random cop blockers. There's Dio up there in Cleveland and Adam Rybka out there in Albany. And, of course, New Hampshire has a few good spots, Keene and Manchester, which should be awesome. I've been talking to Pete, is in Manchester, Pete Air, co-founder CopBlock. And so we've been talking about hanging out before then, not only doing some cop blocking together in Manchester pre-PorkFest, but renting 2 sites at PorkFest to make them kind of like the CopBlock network sites, where we can maybe even do like a small CopBlock summit within PorkFest. So I guess those are some other interesting things that I'll be working on behind the scenes as I wait for the snow to leave and hopefully do some traveling again.
Now, to those people who don't know, what is PorkFest?
Well, PorkFest is short for the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and the Porcupine Freedom Festival is the Free State Project's summer event. They hold a summer event, PorkFest, and a winter event, Liberty Forum, and that is 2 venues that they utilize to promote the Free State Project, which is basically an idea to get 20,000 folks who want to achieve liberty in their lifetime, more freedom, personal choice, and so forth. And so they utilize those 2 events to promote things that go on in New Hampshire, speaks liberty while it's important, the community, and so forth. And so it's
They're almost there too, aren't they? They're like 98% now.
Yeah, so the idea of it is once 20,000 people, sign up for the pledge, then within 5 years, all 20,000 agree to move. And so through New Hampshire being like the number of population, and if you had that many active folks, they figure that you can affect some real change. I always give the analogy that instead of throwing a bunch of pebbles into a pond and you see all the ripples running into one another, this is like taking a boulder and throwing it in, and the ripple just continuously ripples out. So that's the idea with New Hampshire and the Free State Project. So every summer in June for a week, about 1,000 to 2,000. I think it's been at what, like 1,400 or 1,500 the last couple of years, Dio?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so about that many, liberty-loving or curious folks head to Rogers Campground in Lancaster, New Hampshire, spend a week talking all things, political elections and what they mean for freedom, Bitcoin, a number of things, self-sustaining.
All kinds of vendors.
Everything. Then there's vendors. There's Agora Valley. There's poker tables that happen. I mean, there's a little bit of everything happens at PorkFest, so it's pretty cool. And so, like I was alluding to,
Are there any men in blue uniforms and badges?
Well, I've gone to PorkFest for, this year will be my 8th year, and 1 year a cop came there, and there were so many people that filmed them right away that I don't think they've come back since. Last year, some New Hampshire state food inspectors didn't get the memo and showed up, and they got recorded rather quickly and decided to leave as well.
I saw that video. That was pretty funny.
Like 30 activists with cameras up there.
Yeah.
One of the key guys in there, one of the key guys recording that and asking some questions was Ian Freeman, who operates LRN.FM, which is what this show is being heard on in some areas. Yay!
So the CopBlock network is your primary focus right now, just growing that and writing story.
I really want to focus on doing some more original content. It's always nice to keep people up to on current events, especially with the open spin is what I'll call it, because everybody's biased. People will criticize CopBlock for saying that CopBlock's just cop haters and whatever. Well, you know what you're going to get at CopBlock. And, you know, to say it's a no spin zone or to say that we're just giving you neutral facts, I think is a fallacy to a reader. I think that's the lie. And so, you know, if you are really looking for truth, then you should look for diversity. So, I think CopBlock provides that with the number of contributors to the site, as well as the ease in which one person can submit their own submission, and that could be about a story or their own thoughts or anything like that. And so, but if you want the flip side, you want to be 100%, you know, I'm going to really dive into the story, I'm going to get both sides of the coin, well, then you might visit copblock.org and police1.com and CNN, and then through those three pieces, formulate your own opinions and decide who you fall in line with more. You know, it could be any of the three. And so, so my goal during these times is to focus more on original content. Pete and I are talking about consolidating and modernizing, updating, however you want to look at it, some of the tabs at the website, pushing into this CopBlock at PorkFest idea, and then ultimately in the springtime turn my attention to making my trek up there, which I could get back out and film a little more.
So right now you're just laying low writing articles?
Yeah, I don't know if it's ever laying low, though. I mean, like, if I drive around and see a cop or something like that, I'm going to stop and film. You know, I'm not really doing that a whole lot right now. I'm just kind of being stationary. You know, but there's been a couple times where they've popped into the neighborhood where I'm living right now, and, you know, Brian and I have filmed them. I haven't caught them by myself yet, but I'm sure in time it'll happen.
Do you consider your time in Noblesville a success? I mean, I feel like...
No, it was an absolute waste of time. They got the 100% best of me. It's probably one of the worst stands of activism I did, and through the whole process, I just continued to make poor decisions. You know, I got out of jail too soon in Kansas, came back to Indiana too soon, and didn't really let the system play out. And so once that pendulum starts swinging into the state's favor in that, there was really no way to get out of it. You know.
But you were able to really expose a lot of what was happening there. I mean, your YouTube videos, even you guys meeting with the prosecutor, just showed his lack of interest and just the corruption for what it was.
Don't get me wrong, the story always has value. You know what I'm saying? Like, people seeing what happened to us, having that relate to them, even just people in Noblesville having more of an awareness of CopBlock, what it is, and whatever. You know, that always happens when these court cases happens. I just mean, you know, like, you know, there's many factors that played in it as this thing rolled along. And so, like, even now, you know, when we took a good fresh look at what the MAC tour could be with the time left, and concluding that we should end it, and Brian went...
Well, we'll be right back with more CopBlock Radio.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you can't hear the commercials. I can only hear them with my setup.
Sorry about that.
That's cool. You want to stay on for another one and talk about the militia?
Yeah, why not? I'm down. I wrote about it today, so.
Perfect. That's actually the story that I have up, so you can. I also have the video, but I'm really scared to mess with this video.
When we come back, I think you should say, like, you know, you have to do the intro because you're the only one who can hear the intro music, Severin. So, like, after, just like say welcome back and then stop, and I'm gonna be like, hey, Damo, that's a sweet hat, man. Where'd you pick that up at?
Okay, we'll do a CopBlock store thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, get some shows. We're back. A deal. Pick up on when to say his name. You know, like, if you ever listen to FTL and stuff, they do, like, you know, do a little spiel, but then he always cues in, and I'm Ian, and then it's, and I'm Mark, and I'm Dio. You know, I'm not saying you have to do all the guests, but, you know, but you and Dio could pick up on a intro.
Yeah, we got to work that out. It's difficult not being in the same room. That's an advantage that Ian and them have.
Well, no, because they're all wearing headphones too, dude.
Yeah, but they're all in the same room. They can see each other. They can look right at each other.
Well, they hear they hear all the audio too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another thing.
All right, here's what I'm gonna do.
Do it.
You guys want to mute your microphones? I'll say welcome back, and I'll play the video right away. Or no, you want to do the CopBlock store thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys mute your microphones, and I'll play the video.
Sounds good.
If you don't mute your microphones, you get crazy feedback.
No problem.
Okay.
How much time we got before break?
47. So 2 more minutes.
Oh, okay. So we can talk. I was just gonna say, figure out to get you guys some intro music. Oh wait, I just can't hear it. You do have some.
Yeah, we have it.
We got some stuff.
Never mind.
I can actually, if I go like this.
I want to get. I'm gonna get Ian to play streaming line.
Be able to-
System of a Down.
Instead of just listening, you can
Oh.
also see the Liberty Radio Network's key New Hampshire-based live shows via our studio cam at cam.lrn.fm. Plus, you'll still be able to listen to the Liberty Radio Network via the cam feed in high quality 24/7, even when there's no live show being produced in our Keene studio. But wait, there's more. Our chat room is built into the cam page so you can interact with other listeners online. Listen, watch, and chat, all free at cam.lrn.fm. That's cam.lrn.fm.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your get in.
Better turn it back.
I don't think he can hear when I have. Now we're back. We're about to be coming back. Welcome back.
Hey,
We're
Damo,
approaching our
man.
second half. What's
Yeah,
up?
you got on there. Where'd you get that?
This hat?
That hat you got on right there. That's a sweet looking hat.
This is the CopBlock hat. Got it at the CopBlock.org store. You can get them there with these hoodies, t-shirts, sweatpants, and more.
Right on. Badges, pins. I got mine. Mine's a little grungy.
Already?
I've been alternating hoodies all
I
winter
wear
long.
my hat a lot.
They're dope. Fit like a glove.
For sure.
But yeah, I like them.
CopBlock.org/store.
Someone saw
Well, here-
my hoodie, they're like, yes, you are free to go. I was like,
Yeah, I loved all the conversation that starts whenever I'm out and wearing my CopBlock gear, because it's just all the supporters, and you get to tell them about your local groups, and just wearing CopBlock clothes and having the logo on my car, I think, is what got my group approaching 3,000 people right now.
right?
My friend
So
says I'm paranoid. I'm like, I don't have to be paranoid. I walk around with a "fuck the police" T-shirt on.
True that.
Well, we're going to jump into a story that was written by you, Adamo,
All right.
and it's our top story of the week. The federal employees decided to open fire on the militia members. We all saw it coming. We all were saying, how long is it going to take before violence is brought into this? I know I've been saying it from the beginning because I knew. And a lot of people mentioned Waco, Texas as the way that this is going to end up. And here it is. I mean, the police decided to initiate force when they were driving. Do you want to tell us about the story, Adamo?
Sure, I didn't know if you wanted to watch the video to give a base, or if you wanted me to just go into some details right off the rip.
Well,
Don't matter to me.
I am not sure if I play the video if LRN will be able to hear the video.
Okay, well, I can explain it to folks anywho. And so, yeah, like basically what you said is there was, Ammon Bundy and some militia members who essentially occupied a wildlife refuge in Oregon. And the other day, yesterday evening, they were traveling to a city nearby to talk to like a town hall council meeting and just try to tell locals more about their position and their goals. when on the way they ran into a FBI/Oregon State Police checkpoint/ambush. Some call it a traffic stop. Whatever you want to say, they encountered police. And at that point, there's
the police knew who they were dealing with, right? This wasn't just some random traffic stop that went bad.
No, it wasn't a random traffic stop, but some outlets have labeled it as a legal stop, and like I think that's, a leaning term, but whatever. They were stopped, and then what's unclear is like whether like some surrendered and were handcuffed and put in the cars. They were walking people out of the car one by one, but some eyewitness accounts are reporting that one of the individuals was shot with their hands in the air, and I even heard one story claim that while on their knees. And so, and then as well as that individual being shot, so was another individual, but that wasn't a life-threatening gunshot wound. And so about, I believe, 6, I'm trying to pull it up right now real quick, individuals were arrested. One of them was shot, and the other one was fatally shot. I just want to get this gentleman's last name correct, but
that must make it okay, right? He wasn't fatally shot, so he'll live. So that'll be
definitely not
get away with that one.
Yeah, Lavoy Finicum is the individual who was shot and killed, and again, it's alleged with his hands in the air, whatever. Now, some of the media outlets that I've read, the more the mainstream ones, have talked about there were 3 shots fired and so forth, and that these 2 individuals that were shot were refusing police orders, and that one of those individuals, presumably the deceased, lunged at the officers. That's some of the state reports, and then some of the eyewitness reports said that that wasn't true. Hands were in the air, and that police were the only one to fire their weapons, and that they fired anywhere from 80 to 100 rounds. So the other story I heard too was that. And this is from the supporter side, is that, I just want to correct his name again. 1 second. Finicum, Lavoy Finicum, they did claim that he did leave the vehicle like hastily, but yet that he was still unarmed. So, I guess details will play out. Who knows?
I really want to see some dash cam video.
Well, yeah, I mean, that sounds kind of sick, but I know what you mean.
I want to see what, not that I want to see somebody get killed, I want to see what actually happened.
Right, and so it's funny because like the FBI one time tried to get a guy in Keene, New Hampshire named Rich Paul to wear a wire into the Keene Activity Center, and they had like video wire. Sometimes the police wire you, it's just audio. They have like little spy James Bond video shit. So you would think that the FBI and, like you said, these state troopers will have dash cams. It'd be interesting if anyone ever gets to see it, or what's going to happen to the people who's arrested. And that's one of the focuses of my blog, is that the state is charging those who are arrested with conspiring to use threats, force, and or intimidation against government officials, which would impede them from doing their official duties. The hypocrisy in that just sounds...
I know. That's why I'm laughing.
Because doesn't the government, especially the FBI and the federal government, by threat of force, intimidation, impede on everybody's everyday life to do their, from doing their jobs or, from living their lives. And so it's like the pot calling the kettle black is just, an atrocious.
You're stopping us from violating your rights. That's not okay.
Stop
standing up for yourself.
The pot's got to be calling the kettle something even worse than black. I mean, like, it's got to be, because that's
Barack Obama himself said that government is nothing more than a monopoly on force. Essentially, the right to use violence, to use lethal force, and these people are being caged for doing what the government claims its only purpose to do is. And it's like, forget what you think about the militia members, that they should be on this property, if they whatever. In yesterday's example, you're looking at people who are claiming that other people do what they do and putting them in the cage for it, and that's pretty fucked up. Like, you do what we do, so you must go to jail.
I'm, I always found that throughout my whole life has been like that, right? Is do as I say and not as I do. And
Right.
that just doesn't work for me
It's a
anymore.
big problem in the system, and that's a big reason why I advocate for voluntary interactions and self-government, if any. And so let folks live and let live, and if you're a bad person, you probably won't live in that world very long.
I think people are actually starting to get, I know I am, starting to just get cynical about the whole thing with the whole double standard, and I don't even get surprised anymore. Somebody just sent me a story today about they filed a complaint against bike cops that were blatantly riding against the flow of traffic and impeding on people's ability to walk down the street. And there are signs up in this area that say you must travel with traffic.
Right.
So they filed a complaint, and the Internal Affairs responded back 2 days later with a letter that says, "Oh, bicycle cops are exempt from such rules."
It's cute to watch them grow up, isn't it, Damo?
Like, I don't. It's not even surprising anymore. It's sad. Like, people are getting sick of it. People just roll their eyes anymore. It's like everybody's getting desensitized. Nobody's shocked when a cop gets off anymore.
The problem with people being desensitized is that they start to get the attitude of, it is what it is. That's the way it is. Can't fight City Hall. What are you gonna do? I mean, that caused me to that kind of thinking caused me to be asleep for 20 years of my fucking life.
Yeah, I hear you. So real quick, man, I know we're going to a break soon, but I was just looking at an update from the militia page out there, and I guess they're claiming that the guy that was on TV claiming to be Amon's attorney was not, in fact, his attorney, that the Bundy brothers are not asking the militia to stand down, but yet stand their ground. So that could be some really interesting stuff.
Wow. So they actually got a guy to impersonate their attorney and ask their guys to stand down.
Yeah, I guess, but I guess it wasn't really his attorney, possibly.
That's pretty amusing.
All right.
The tricks that they will go to, I'm telling you.
And they took down Lavoie's Facebook page.
Whose?
The man that was shot and killed.
Wow.
Who took it down?
They don't know who. I mean, the guy didn't do it because he's dead.
Well, we're going to be coming back on our next half hour with even more guests, more twists and turns stories. Sure doesn't get let up at any time soon, so we'll be right back with our second half of CopBlock Radio.
Keep that surprise face on.
Weird stuff, man. All right, guys, I'm going to bounce.
All right, thank you for joining. It's been great.
Peace.
See you later.
All right. Take it easy. You got James Butler coming up now?
No, I canceled the call because we didn't have the audio for the caller right.
He can get in the Google Doc, dude, or he can get in the Hangout. He's got the send him the. I have the link.
James
right?
Butler.
Yeah, hold on, I'll do it. I got it. Just warn me when we're coming back, so I don't get.
This is our 8-minute commercial. We got a while.
Wait, I have to go to that and get the.
I'm gonna play some commercials, and I'm gonna.
This is the long break, right? So we get.
Yeah, we have till 11:06. I gotta.
Yeah, don't tell me 11:06. How many minutes?
6 or 7 minutes.
Okay, because our fucking clocks aren't synchronized, so that's not going to work.
Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same great prices, and LRN gets a cut. Please do your online shopping at shop.lrn.fm.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. Following sharp increases yesterday, in early trading on Wednesday, gold is $2 lower at $1,118 per ounce. Silver is down 3 cents at $14.54 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $395. We have plenty of new 2016 Silver American Eagles in stock. Get yours online at rrbi.co or give us a call. 874-9760.
More CopBlock Radio is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, January 27th, 2016. Silver is trading at $14.50 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,120 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $398. Antiwar.com reports influential Iraqi member of parliament and Badr Brigade leader Hadi Amiri on Tuesday declared U.S. airstrikes against the Islamic State to have been a failure, saying they'd killed some of the Islamic State's figures, but the group remains large, flush with cash, and in a state of high morale. Amiri said, "Today, the Islamic State is a state. It has command centers. Their locations are known. Their logistics are known," adding that the U.S. is not attacking the Islamic State sites and is subsequently not doing major harm to the continued control of much of Iraq and Syria by the Islamic State. Amiri also faulted U.S. arming schemes for moderate Syrian rebels, saying this was a big source of weapons for the Islamic State and that what few moderate factions in Syria are so weak that the Islamic State is just taking the arms away from them. The Badr Brigade is among the largest of the Shia militias fighting against the Islamic State in Iraq, and this has made Amiri hugely influential among the nation's Shiite majority. While he hasn't been as overtly hostile to U.S. deployment as some other militias, he has been very critical of U.S. tactics. If you're fed up with the government running every aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, what's wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe today using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every episode. UPI reports Concepcion Picciotto, who kept a peace vigil against nuclear weapons outside the White House for nearly 3.5 decades, believed to be the longest protest in U.S. history, died this week at a homeless shelter in Washington, D.C. Picciotto recently suffered a fall, but the cause of her death Monday was not immediately known. Concepcion, known as Connie to many, was believed to be around 80 years old. She began her anti-nuclear proliferation vigil outside the presidential residence in August 1981. Just 6 Ronald Reagan's administration.
What did you just send me?
Known as the White House Peace Vigil was actually started 2 months later by activist William Thomas. After she met Thomas, she was a regular resident in Lafayette Park on Pennsylvania Avenue, across the street from the north lawn of the White House. Various other activists joined and departed the vigil over the 35 years.
What did you just send me, Dio?
Picciotto was the only one who remained as a permanent fixture.
James's video.
1981 and January of
Is he
this
coming
year,
on?
more than 12,500 consecutive days of protest under her belt. It's believed Picciotto's was the longest running political protest in American history. Over the years, various signage makeshift residence near Lafayette Park. One said
I have
by the bomb,
that video,
by the bomb. Another said,
but here's the problem. I don't know if Ian can hear the video.
1601 Pennsylvania Avenue. For virtually the entire protest, maintaining the vigil became a game of cat and mouse. According to rules by the Park Service, vigils cannot be left unattended, even for a brief.
Oh, there's no audio for this video anyway.
By authorities. In 2013, the display was immediately but temporarily taken down by authors.
Every time you use your City Advantage Button Select card.
Stop it.
I'm trying.
Four American presidents and nearly a fifth.
That's the audio for that video?
Yeah.
40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious
No, it was just turned all the way up. I got it.
They also take Bitcoin for precious metal
What the hell?
purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital
All right, yeah, I
currency.
got it.
Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Eamon Bundy, the purported leader of an occupation at a wildlife refuge in Oregon, and several of his companions were arrested by federal authorities Tuesday evening. A law enforcement source told CNN that shots were fired during a parking stop where Eamon Bundy and 7 others were arrested, though it was not clear who opened fire first. Lavoy Finicum, who acted as the group's spokesman, was killed by police during the incident. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
On June 4th, 1919, a group of bold, passionate men took it upon themselves to pass the Women's Suffrage Act.
Stop breathing into the fucking microphone, and I think it's probably time to turn the commercial off. So just,
2 more minutes.
Yeah, I know, but turn them off now so you, the thing's straightened out.
Strong and capable men.
Are you hearing the commercials?
Yes.
Weak female counterparts. And on June 6th.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm not hearing me either. Okay.
Can you hear me?
You should get it straight now. You know what I mean? That's all. I'm just trying to make sure that we're going to come back right.
All right. So when we come back, I'll jump into that.
I hear myself now.
You hear yourself?
I just did. Now I don't. Okay.
There we go. Now you won't.
Right.
We're coming back.
See what I mean?
Welcome back to our second half of CopBlock Radio.
What's happening, man? What do you got in store? We got James Butler supposed to be calling in, trying to get him in the hangout with us. James. Follow the link I gave you. Follow the rabbit hole. Come down. Check us out. He's been down this rabbit hole before, so he knows. We'll get him as soon as we get him. He sent us a video to take a look at. Unfortunately, our technical problems still won't let us do that just yet. Still working on it.
I mean, I'm not 100% sure that the video doesn't work. The video has no audio anyway, so if you want, I could just share the screen and we could watch it and talk over it.
See what happens.
Because it's surveillance video.
Yeah, because that's the only problem. We don't want the dead air on LRN. So
yeah, so we could just talk over it.
We'll talk over it.
Doesn't really have any words to it. It just says Marion Oaks 5. Video shows beating by Marion Oaks Sheriff's deputies.
Hey, there he is. What's up, James?
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me well?
Yeah, what's up?
Beautiful.
Cool. How are y'all doing today?
We're doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful.
We were just about to watch that video. Now, is that you in the video?
No, it's a friend of mine from 2 years ago. The video just got released by the FBI.
All right, so tell us before we watch the video. Tell us what we're going to be seeing.
Okay, so the video, what happened before the video comes on, Derek Price was in his home. The cops, he has surveillance on his house, his personal security cams. He sees the cops rolling up his road and pulling in his front yard, so he takes off the back of the house and starts running. They kicked his door in because he was allegedly sold drugs to an undercover cop. So he ran. The video gets caught by a private business owner's security camera in front of their business. And you see him run into the parking lot. You see a truck hauling butt behind him real fast. They pull right behind him. He throws his hands up, lays on the ground. Then you see 4 cops jump out of that 4-door pickup truck, and they just basically start punching him in the face, kneeing him in the ribs. One guy's holding his legs down, and they just basically.
Now, were they doing? We can't hear any audio, so we don't know if they were yelling "Stop resisting."
Well, after this video, you'll see the
they were yelling at.
Yeah. Well, here's the funny thing. You'll watch the video from the security cam. You see on the cam that he's not resisting, and as soon as that part of the video is over, it goes into a body cam on one of the officers, and you can hear him say, you can hear them all saying, "Stop resisting! Stop resisting! Stop resisting!" And clearly on the video, he was not resisting.
So we got we're playing through the video now. There's no audio on it. We have one person just ran. We have a sheriff, looks like running after him. Cuts over, hands in the air. He's like, I'm done. You guys got me. All right. And of course, wow. Oh man.
Jesus Christ.
They just jump right on top of him, and all you see is their arms flailing.
One guy over by his
Look at him kneeing him in the. What the fuck? Oh my god.
The FBI had this video, James?
Yeah, so when this first came out, Derek is a good friend of mine,
Of course.
and so he told me about this, and he's like, "Oh man, these cops punched me in my face 50 times." I was like, "Oh come on, bro, it really didn't happen like that." This is, if you look at the video, he got punched at least 50 times in the face,
Hell
and
yeah.
I was like, "Nah, man, it ain't really like that. Come on, you're just, me being a police accountability guy, I kind of believe him, but some stories are far fetched,
He's bloody. You can see he's laying in a pool of blood after they all get up off.
Now, yeah, he never got knocked out. They never knocked him out. So he was awake during the whole thing.
So real quick for anybody that wants to watch the video, I just posted it on Facebook's on the CopBlock Radio Facebook page. So if you want to go check it out for yourself, it's right there. It's brutal. It's really brutal. I can't believe what I'm watching. The guy puts his hands up in the air, very, very clearly puts his hands up in the air, and they're all over him. They're just loving roughing this guy up.
Now you'll see one of the cops after in this dash cam footage, you'll see him look down at the guy's body cam, and you'll see him shut it off real quick, like he'll slap it off of him.
They're showing the second. They're showing the second.
Right here,
angle. Yeah, they're showing the second angle of the body cam footage.
Wow! Anybody who couldn't see that, the one officer just not even trying to hide it, reaches forward and shuts the other officer's body cam off because you don't want to catch that. They're not done roughing him up yet.
Motherfucker, you already caught it. It was all over there, man.
So they just released this.
No, yeah. So here's what happened. Basically I don't think they were even going to do anything about this, but they found out that a private citizen had this on their own videotape. So they had to do something about it. So the next day, once that video got reviewed by the sheriff, he basically put everybody on without pay, suspension without pay, and turned it over to the FDLE. Now, this is also a department that about 4 sheriffs ago, the sheriff was arrested for stealing money. So
what is that, the FDLE?
The FDLE is basically the Florida law enforcement department. It's like the cops of the cops. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But it's more a covering up of the cops. Yeah. So it's a state police. It's not a trooper or anything like that, but they're above all the cops.
Wow.
Oh, I think he cut out. Damn.
Yeah, we just lost him, but the video was really damning. We really thank you, James, for coming in. And
yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Oh, there he is.
Sorry.
Cool. No, it's cool. It's cool. Technical difficulties are part of the program.
So
does your friend have a lawsuit now?
Yes. I tried to get him to make a couple statements so I could write a blog. I was going to write a blog post on it, and he basically said his lawyer said I can't talk about nothing.
He can't talk about nothing. You could talk about whatever you want.
I can talk about whatever I want. He can't tell me anything.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what I told him.
You have the video you can blog about. You don't have to.
No,
you don't need any help from him whatsoever.
Which is really counterproductive. I want to say something about this because I see this all the time. Whenever there's a police brutality case and lawyers get involved, they know there's going to be a payout. So they silence everybody up until then. And what that does is perpetuates this wall of silence that the public gets, that no cops are being held accountable. Because even the defense attorneys are telling people, don't do it. Don't talk about it. Don't publicly say anything. Just be silent from this point on because you're going to get paid later. But what about this unaccountable cop that's still on the force? That becomes not important because it's about the payday then, and the lawyers getting their money.
Well, all 4 of them have been indicted and have been found guilty for color of law violation. They all they'll be all sentenced to federal prison. The one guy that was holding the guy's legs down in the video is taking this to trial. So
I was on his legs, man.
So all the other officers took plea deals?
Yeah, so since they took plea deals in federal court, what has happened since then, 4 officers have been fired from the sheriff's department for falsifying records. K-9 units have been, their lieutenants have been demoted for saying that they searched people's vehicles and the dog never indicated, but they wrote down that the dog indicated.
There's a surprise.
Yeah, so the whole department has been turned upside down. we have found out since all this stuff went out that there's sheriff deputies stealing people's purses and then buying $300 worth of cigarettes at Walmart with their credit cards.
Wow.
So this whole department's been turned around, and it's Sheriff Chris Blair's election year. He's going to be reelected or try to get reelected. So I feel like all this accountability is all of a sudden coming out of everywhere because of elections.
Well, I just got to say, to hear a case where cops are going to be going to jail and they plead guilty, like, hooray. It's about damn time. I mean, it happens. It does happen. Anybody following the accountability movement, it does happen, but they're so few and far between. It's very, very frustrating.
The guy that was holding his legs is probably going to be like when he goes to try, hey, man, I was just holding him down. I was just doing my job. I was just trying to restrain him. Those guys were the ones kicking him and punching him in the face, even though I just sat there and held his legs and didn't do nothing about all that.
The only guy I kind of feel bad for, and this is probably human nature with my
Well, we're
part.
cutting to a commercial break, James, but we thank you for your call today, and we will be looking for that story up on CopBlock.org.
Okay.
Thank you again for calling.
All right, buddy.
We'll be right back.
Are we out?
CopBlock Radio. Now we're out.
Jim, you can stay if you want to do another little bit or something. I mean,
yeah, man. I just wanted. Only thing I know if y'all want to talk about it, we can. But the funny thing is that when the cops bust your door down for selling drugs, what do they normally do? They take all your stuff, right? They take your cars, they take your house.
Mm-hmm.
Civil
asset forfeiture.
So the cops called him that night and basically said, "Hey, your cars are parked in the Winn-Dixie parking lot. Come get them." And when he got to his
you mean
car,
they gave him back?
Yeah, they didn't even make him sign any paperwork. They gave all his stuff back, and when he opened his trunk of his SUV, there was flat screen TVs and lawn chairs and DVD players, and they just stole everything of his house. So, but yeah, it's just ridiculous.
They had a payday. They thought they had a big score.
Yeah. And what's so funny, even if he was in the wrong for selling drugs or whatever, I don't think he was in the wrong. But even if they had a case, that's going to get thrown out the window now.
For sure.
So.
Well, I mean, instead of saying for sure, let's just wait and see what happens, because these tricky dick motherfuckers.
Right.
Hopefully the guy gets off. I mean, I agree that there's nothing wrong with drugs. They should be legal anyway. But
yeah,
that's not how it is.
Oh yeah, I know. But I mean, I really haven't seen a video this bad for a while, man. Especially a guy surviving it. I mean, it's a bad video.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of. I mean, it's as beatings go, it's kind of short. I mean, it's not the 16 minutes that they beat Kelly Thomas, but
yeah, but
it's still a pretty severe, looks like, beating. I mean, like I said, once they all undog pile off of him, you can see he's laying in a pool of his own fucking blood.
Yeah.
So, well, I hope he gets what he deserves for it. I hope he gets the justice that's coming.
Yeah.
If these guys are going to federal prison, I hope they don't just go to a fucking country club prison.
Oh yeah. And the thing is too is I when I did the public records request to get this video from the FBI, I was on probation at the time, and they sent FBI agents to my probation office and told me basically that I need to stop asking questions. So.
Make sure that goes in the blog.
Oh yeah. Well, I told my probation officer, I'm off probation now, but I told her at the time, if the FBI wants to talk to me, tell them to come to my home.
Wow, I just heard what you just said. You're gonna write this up for CopBlock.org, right?
Well, I know I gave the video to Damo, and he said he was gonna write. I'm not a good writer, man. I'm a good content getter.
That's okay.
So, we all have our time.
I'm sure Damo will do it some justice.
Yeah. So. But yeah, man. So they never came to my house. They never wanted to talk to me. But
they didn't want to be caught on tape saying,
"Yeah,
keep your mouth shut."
Yeah." I think their exact words was, "I need to mind my business." So.
Well, that's cool. I mean, if you got to go to work or whatever,
No, I'm here at work now. That's why I didn't want to be on video, because I'm here in the middle of work now. So.
Yeah, I mean, like if you got to go do your job, I mean.
I'm good, bro. I'm good.
If you got to go do what they pay you to do,
No, I'm good, man. I'm on break.
So. I mean, we're gonna have another guest on, but I'm not sure if that's happening immediately or we probably got a little bit of time if you want to.
Nah, man. Yeah, I want to. I'm going to get moved to day shifts, so I'll be able to do some more night stuff. And I like having conversation with you guys, man. I think this whole radio show is pretty productive. It gets the word out.
Always a good guest. Always a good guest, and you are a content getter.
Well, yeah, I'll get it. So. Oh, I was going to tell you. So you remember that whole thing with my records, trying to get records, and then I got assaulted by that guy?
Yeah.
I sued him. And
welcome back to the next half hour of CopBlock Radio. Sorry to cut you off there, James.
No problem.
That's all right. He could regale the rest of the audience with his story about the time. You remember the time when he went to get the public records request and he got assaulted?
Yeah, how many times is that?
There was this one time at the sheriff's department when I.
Yeah.
Go on, tell us what you
got.
Okay.
So I filed a lawsuit and it got settled outside of court for the legal fees. But since that happened, what they were trying to do is they basically brought my lawyer up to the bar to basically get him debarred after all that.
Cool.
So yeah, man, it's terrible, man. Like lawyers out here trying to help our cause are getting debarred for them helping the accountability cause.
Well, yeah, they got to play the game with the rest of the DAs and all that. And if they don't go out and play golf with everybody and be everybody's best friend, then how are they supposed to strike those backroom deals?
Oh, I know. It's just terrible.
Well, we have another guest about to join us, part of the Knights of Meat at the Cop Blockers, which is the title of tonight's show.
Who we got up next? What's coming up?
We have Josh. And I just sent Josh the link now, so he should be joining us right now. Josh Hodgkins, writer for CopBlock.org, contributor. He believe he has a group. What CopBlock group does he work with?
Iowa
CopBlock.
Iowa, yeah.
Iowa. He's definitely one of my favorite contributors. I love reading his stuff. He always cracks me up. He just recently did maybe we'll talk about the story. He just did a story. Oh, there he is. Hey, what's up, Josh?
Hey, how's it going?
Awesome. I was just about to mention one of my favorite stories that you have done yet.
Which one's that?
The cops or strippers story. Josh just recently wrote a story for CopBlock proposing the question, what if we were to replace the police today with strippers? How would and he proposed a few scenarios that really made a lot of sense. Like, you can't be an aggressive gunman with boobies in your face, right?
No, you can't.
If you're a rapist, I guess you can't you?
Yeah, but even so, like you're totally distracted. You're off your game. You're not going to be able to. You're just not going to be able to keep going with the same amount of enthusiasm toward violence or destruction when you're presented with that in your face.
And that's why you send multiple sets of boobies so that they can protect one another from possible rapists. And also ups the effect.
So we were just talking about you run the Iowa CopBlock page, correct?
I run the Iowa City. There's actually 2 Iowa CopBlock pages, and they're both ran by other people who were part of CopBlock before I was even around. So I focus on Iowa City and kind of southeastern Iowa in general.
Well, that's cool. I know you've been writing. How long have you been involved with CopBlock?
I got started in April of last year, so I'll be coming up on a year soon.
You had your own web pages that you blogged for before that, though, right?
Yeah, I've had advancedape.com for About 3 years now, 3 or 4 years.
And what about I know you have another one called Unicorn World or something?
Yeah, unicornworld.org is pretty new. It came about from discussions of some cop bloggers who wanted an opportunity to write some things that weren't necessarily about the police, but were about, kind of anti-authority, anti-statist issues. And we talked about that. And so I kind of got the ball rolling, and then no one else really wanted to do much. So I've been kind of writing myself and taking a few contributions here and there.
Oh, that's cool. I like the way that you present things in a. You seem to take a lot of the emotion out of the conversation and really present a lot of logic to things, as far as just we're all human beings coming from that perspective and trying to solve the problem of accountability. It's from what I understand, your most recent decision that you've made is that accountability will never happen, correct?
Not just that it will never happen, but that it's an impossibility of nature.
So why don't you tell us about that? What does that mean?
Well, systems and institutions themselves take on the properties of living organisms. They require the same things that living organisms do in nature, such as self-sustainability, growth, protection. And so when you have these monolithic things like the state and policing, they begin to act like these organisms, and they have to protect themselves. They have to foster their own growth. They have to do these things because it's the basic instinct of any living thing. And so
I've seen this movie. Is Kurt Russell in this one? Is this the Kurt Russell one, or is this the 2000 one? Because I don't like that. Kurt Russell's in the thing. That's it. And you know what? Even he's a fake because it was in the 50s.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Yeah, there's the Thing from the 50s. That was the original. And
The
then
Thing
John
from the
Carpenter made
50s?
it with, yeah, and then John Carpenter made it and with Kurt Russell in the 80s. And then they just remade it recently in like 2010 or something like that.
Was it John Carpenter doing it?
No, John Carpenter's dead. Sorry, but John Carpenter has died.
So what's some of the recent activities you've been doing in Iowa?
The most recent stuff I've been doing recently was the 1 year death of Autumn Steele, who was killed in Burlington, Iowa, which is about an hour and a half away here, by Officer Jesse Hill, who was trying to shoot her dog, slipped and fell. And so I went down there recently and was part of a protest on the 1 year anniversary, and I kind of been keeping tabs on that and helping out with sort of the young lady who was killed. I've become friends with her mother, and so I kind of keep in touch with them and things, and take local
We
stories.
watched that video last week, didn't we, Severin?
Yeah, we did
Was
watch
it last week or the week
We
before
wanted to have
watched
Josh
the
on,
video?
but he was unavailable.
Right.
But yeah, we did. We watched the video of your protest and
Yeah.
you talking with the family and stuff. It was great to see. I mean, cop blocking is not just about holding up signs and warning people about cops. Like, for me, and it seems like for you as well, it's about getting involved and just being. I enjoy being able to give someone who has little hope a voice. To somebody that's been victimized, that feels like it's just them against a huge thing that they have no chance against, and just being able to show them that people do care, and writing a story and getting a response that people are aware of what happened to somebody. I like to just be able to give somebody a voice and support them that way.
Is there anything further from that trial, that case, the Autumn Steele thing?
Well, the most recent developments are that the Iowa Public Information Board, who has been withholding the information, has decided to let there be a new hearing about whether that should be released, because the police are trying to keep that information.
Well, we're going to be cutting to a commercial break any second now. Josh, you're welcome to stay on, but if you are unable to, anybody can find you at copblock.org. Josh Hotchkins is the writer.
And what else? You got the advanced tape too, innit?
Yeah, and we just missed. We went to commercial. Whoops. I had their audio turned down. But Josh, you're welcome to stay. I know you had something going on over there.
Yeah, let me just mute myself and go check on some things and stuff, and if I can, I'll come back.
All right, we'll be back on the air in about 4 minutes. So.
All right, sounds good.
Cool. Well, Brian was supposed to come on.
Is he not?
I haven't been able to get a hold of him. He was supposed to take the last time slot, and I moved Josh up. We'll still talk about his story. We have... Do you want to go to the story next that you mentioned? The one from last week, the county deputy shoplifting?
Yeah, I can I'd actually, I don't know, cause see, I'm writing something, and I don't know if I want to like put it out before it's written totally, but I'm waiting on a video that it doesn't look like is gonna come, so I might be able to just like dance around the facts of what's going on there. It involves our friend Michael Reinheimer from Vermillion.
Oh, okay.
So, but I don't, like I said, I don't know if I really want to like spill it all before I write the story and get the video and stuff. But I can kind of.
Well, it's a really short. It's a short story here.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, I know this one that you're talking about. This Fairfield County deputy.
Because if we don't do that, we have Brian's arrest, the Allentown singing man, which we already talked about, and the FBI shutting down the child porn site.
Mm-hmm.
Those are our last stories.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can do, like I said, I'll do like a montage of like we'll have. I guess if you can't play the video, you're not going to play the video from that thing. So.
Well, I can play the video of.
You can't play the video from my story because it's like a news commentary story. It's like all audio. There's very little actual video to it. It's just reporters talking.
There's no video on there.
So.
No, I'm at your story. The Fairfield County deputy fired after shoplifting accusation. There's no video with it.
There should be. There was when I put it in there. God damn.
Maybe they took the video out.
Possibly.
It's really short. That's what I'm saying. It's like 3 paragraphs long.
Yeah, I guess I can just read it off. I guess or whatever.
Do you want to pull it up and just read it?
I have.
I can have you open.
I have it pulled up. I'll just read it.
All right, that's cool. And then I'll do Brian's arrest after that.
Mm-hmm. We should be coming back.
Did you hear the talking?
No, but I'm watching the time. We should be coming back.
Yeah, well, you're gonna open.
Well, you shake your heads and you know when the music is. Welcome back, everybody, to CopBlock Radio here. This edition, January 27th, 2016. Got an interesting story here. We were talking to Josh from Iowa CopBlock, or Iowa City CopBlock, excuse me. And he's got some things to do. Hopefully he'll be back with us in a few minutes. But in the meantime, we're talking about this story from Lancaster, Ohio. It's funny because apparently the story starts off by saying that there was a second Fairfield County deputy no longer with the office after he was shown on a security camera shoplifting from a Walmart in Reynoldsburg where he was working. Turns out, though, his wife was the first one caught. They were a team, and they were doing this together, and they were shoplifting from Walmart in their uniforms while they were working on a security detail.
Oh, so Walmart hired these guys as private security?
I'm not sure about that. Let me get into the story here. They said The sheriff Phelan said he fired Ed Curry, a deputy since 1999, today after he reviewed a videotape showing Curry shoplifting from the store on December 12th. Curry was in uniform when he shoplifted merchandise after he finished working a special duty shift. Curry's wife, Angela Fleming Curry, who had been a Fairfax County deputy since 2004, handed in her resignation last month at Phelan's request after she was shown on videotape shoplifting on October 18th and again on December 13th from the same Walmart where she worked special duty shifts. Now, special duty shift, I'm going to assume is a, like security guard for Walmart, but due to the fact that they are police, they have the powers to do police things while being a security guard in Walmart.
Yeah, I don't understand that. That doesn't seem right because there's cops around here that do that. I just found out recently, I saw a cop working that I knew had been working earlier that day, and he was in full uniform working at a bar, standing outside.
Yeah.
And I went up and said, how are you doing this? You can't work.
Yeah, no, it's because he's not on duty as a.
No, the bar pays him out of pocket, pays him cash to patrol there while he's off duty on like certain nights of the week.
Right, but he's not on duty. He's not actually acting as a police officer. He's acting as a security guard.
Yeah, but he's in full uniform. That's not right.
I'm aware of that, and you know how these guys are. And you know what? The wearing of the uniform is just an intimidation tactic to make people think that there's a real cop standing there and that you don't want to do nothing while he's standing there. He is a real cop, of course, but when he's standing there guard in front of a bar, he's not on police duty, like on county time. He's, like you said, he's being paid out of pocket by the club or whatever. So
to me, that's so unethical. Like he's profiting from the city's position that they gave him.
Exactly, it's deceptive. It's like I said, it's an intimidation tactic so that people think that it isn't a real on-duty cop there. That's because
I see Josh came back. What is your take on this guy? on officers that take side jobs in their police uniform as like security guards or as bouncers or whatever.
I'm with you. I think that it's an ethical problem. There's obviously a conflict of interest there. And it also sort of goes to show that these guys are a little bit addicted to control and power, that they don't get enough of it, and there are 40 hours a week that they need to find some other way that they go bully, harass, and lord over people.
Yeah, totally. And what happens? Okay, so say this security guard now is standing outside a bar, standing at Walmart, and they go to make an arrest. Now, if I resist, am I resisting law enforcement's arrest, or am I just resisting a citizen's arrest? How does that work legally?
What?
I don't think any of us know how it works legally.
I've seen cases, though, where this has happened, where what happens is that the off-duty cop playing security guard just calls, an officer in, and the charge happens no matter what, So.
Sure, I'm sure his partner or his buddy is well aware that he's pulling duty, as a security guard, and that if he gets the call, that seeing as how who is calling, he's going to respond faster than he does if it was just like a citizen calling,
Yeah, and that's another conflict of interest, because ideally the officer arriving at a scene where a security guard is accusing somebody of a crime should also be investigating the claims made by the security, but obviously when it's a fellow officer, when it's on the same side of the thin blue line as you, that's not going to happen.
Right. I mean, we saw, I don't know if you remember, Josh, it might have been before your time as well, but the Michael Burns from Central Florida CopBlock, he had video. He was taking video of one of these guys who was doing the same thing. He was working like security at a club or whatnot, and I think if I remember correctly, the story was that this off-duty police officer had asked Michael Burns what he was doing, to which he responded, filming police, and that cop that was on duty actually called a 911 call into the police station to say that there was a guy jerking off in his truck. And then an on-duty officer comes up and starts harassing Michael in his truck. This was like a year or two ago. I remember we did the story on CopBlock Radio. I'm not too sure if I remember if Michael actually was on to talk about it or whatnot. But
speaking of jerking off in your truck, I just have to mention this story because it had me laughing earlier, and I think Josh, you might have wrote it. The story of the guy that got in a car accident because he was he was caught jerking off behind the wheel.
He was in the camper whacking.
No, they found out that he was watching on his little DVD screen a porno, and, and he crashed his car.
Morons.
That's not even in the show notes for today. I just had to bring it up because it's freaking hilarious.
Well,
like texting and driving is illegal, but you can whack it.
Back to the Reynoldsburg Police Department, okay? No charges have been filed on these two yet. The Reynoldsburg Police Department is investigating the incidents that occurred at the Walmart at the Taylor Square Shopping Center. The captain said, or the chief, excuse me, Chief Phelan said, "I was certainly shocked and disappointed," he said. "Law enforcement officers should be held to a higher standard." You know, he got that right at least. "My hope is that he is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law." Unfortunately, you know, it's gonna lay on Walmart to file the charges, and you know, the influence. I mean, if the guy was working as a security guard for them, and especially the pair of them were, right? You know, there might be some, like, you know, hey, I'll work for you for free or something. I swear I'll never do it again or something in exchange for not filing charges or whatnot, you know?
Yeah, if nothing's been filed yet, you know that they're trying to work with their buddies.
For sure.
They're trying to get it to quietly go away. Even though you said at the beginning that these guys already resigned as officers, right?
Yeah, well, yes, they did.
Pretty funny.
That happens a lot. That you know, just like it happened in Cleveland. Like it's considered that if cops commit a crime and then they no longer have their job, that's enough punishment. But that's not how it works for the rest of us.
That's like I said earlier. I don't know if you were listening to the show earlier, but that's with Brelo in Cleveland. It's the same thing. Like, okay, we put him through this ringer and shit like this, and we're not gonna like send him to jail or anything like that. But he got fired. So isn't that good enough for you people? Can you shut up about it now?
He no longer gets to play with the rest of the gangsters. That's good enough for us.
I don't know, Josh, you have a day job. If you got caught stealing from your day job after hours, I think you'd be fired and charged. What do you think?
Well, I have an extremely forgiving liberal boss lady, so I probably wouldn't be fired the first time. But in almost any other job I've had, yeah, I would.
Well, see,
your boss would probably be more confused why you would steal books because you work at a bookstore, correct?
That's the thing about it too, though, is that you know it's been my experience because when I was a kid, I was in this situation before, you know, caught stealing something from someplace I worked, and you usually just get fired. They usually don't file charges.
I've worked at a few places where I've seen people actually get charges filed against them for stealing on the job.
Well, I think it depends, like on the probably the severity of the theft as well.
I don't know. I've worked at a few retail stores that I've seen more than once employees get pulled up and fired and have the police called at the same time. But we're going to be going to a commercial break. We're going to be coming right back with our last segment of the night of CopBlock Radio. It's been a great show. I'm really loving it, being back on the air. Thank you all for listening. We'll be right back.
Strangely enough, one of the people I know who got fired for stealing on the job was dating a cop that she later married and then divorced him after he was abusive and violent towards her.
So, do you want to stay on in the last segment?
Yeah, I'll stick around. I checked on Amy and she's okay and stuff, so she'll holler if she needs me and I'll take appropriate actions.
Cool.
Hey Dio, I had a dream last night that Mac showed up and it had Demo, you, Dylan, and Brian, and he came to my place and like we got stoned and ate and stuff, and then we all wanted to go bicycling downtown, and we did. But then like while we were downtown, I was like, shit, I got to go home and do something, and I came home and ended up killing a guy, and then he came back to life, and then I fell from a giant porch that broke off of a house and survived it and found some really cool party guys that helped me bicycle around to find you guys.
Well, you know it was a dream because I was bicycling.
Yeah.
Distance.
To be fair, though, it was a pretty realistic dream depiction of you bicycling. You weren't the most comfortable or happy with it.
Yeah, the guy who made me walk like a mile before we were able to find what we went looking for, and then weren't able to find what we went looking for.
Yeah, well, it's funny, like, not long after you guys were here and that happened, I had a friend of mine get a hold of me, and she's like, hey, do you ever go over to this neighborhood in CopBlock? Because there's always cops there. And I was like, I was just there, and it was the dumbest thing, because there just happened to be no cops there that night.
Will you be attending Port Fest this year?
I doubt it, just because I don't have the money. And any money I do am able to raise, I'm hoping to be able to move away from Iowa this year. So probably won't be able to make it this year. I'd hoped I would be able to, but that just doesn't seem realistic.
Why do you want to leave Iowa? Who's going to watch over Iowa City?
Well, I spent my whole life moving around a lot and stuff when I was younger, and have a really bad case of feeling uncomfortable and trapped and stuff from being here for so long. And also, I really hate winters and have seasonal affective disorder stuff, and it's really not healthy to be here. And I also grew up a lot in the West, so I really miss mountains and shit.
So what, you're going to try to go out back to, like, Colorado or something?
Yeah, Colorado, or, I wouldn't mind being back in Wyoming, except for the winter's pretty unbearable there, too. But, more southern Colorado is pretty decent. I also wouldn't mind, like, New Mexico, or even getting back to the West Coast. I lived in Portland and Seattle for a little while, so.
I would love to go there. Maybe not even to live there, but to go there.
Yeah, Seattle was nice, but it was so fucking snobby that after a while I decided I had to go to Portland. But I got to Portland and the job situation was terrible, so.
We're going to be coming back in about 10 seconds.
By the way, this is all coming along much nicer now with all the new equipment. Shit, good job.
Thank you. A lot of work, but it was worth it.
Yeah. Makes what you guys do work better.
We are back with our final segment of CopBlock Radio of the night. It has been a great show. I loved having all the guests, getting to know everybody.
It's been fun.
Yeah, trying to organize the show a little better, try to make it run a little smoother, and it seems to be working out pretty well. We have Josh Hodgkins as our guest right now, and we're going to be talking about the final couple stories of the night. One of the stories we're going to hit on is the FBI shuts down a child porn site. Just kidding, they ran it. Story by Adamo Freeman on CopBlock.org. The story was originally published at voicesofliberty.com. Between February 20th and March 4th, 2015, the FBI operated one of the Internet's largest child pornography websites, known as Playpen. The operation and how it is carried out remains largely confidential, but the Justice Department acknowledged in court filings that the FBI was behind the enterprise. The site run by the FBI allows users to download thousands of illicit images and videos of child pornography. The operation is run from a government site in Virginia. This is the third time the Bureau has been tied to child pornography website sting operations. In recent years, FBI agents have taken control of child pornography websites. In all cases, agents decided to keep them running instead of bringing them down right away. According to the Bureau, this option gives them access to users who would otherwise remain anonymous. According to USA Today, the FBI infected the sites with software designed to puncture encryption systems, bringing out the identity of hundreds of users. While under the control, the site had more than 215,000 registered users, over 9,000 files were available direct from download from the FBI. According to court filings, some of the images involve children who weren't even old enough for kindergarten. Current tactics seem to contradict past strategies that include guidelines to keep images of children from becoming public. This is just horrible. I mean, if you want to read the rest of this story, it is on CopBlock.org. It's on the main page right now. But needless to say, it looks really bad for the feds because what they ended up getting was hundreds and hundreds of times more people getting these images than they were able to catch. Josh, do you know anything about this story?
Yeah, I checked it out a little bit earlier.
I believe that they were able to catch like 2,500 people, I think it was, out of 200,000.
Yeah, the problem is that they're catching people who are consuming child porn, which is really in itself a pretty harmless activity. It's the people who exploit children to make it that are the problem, which is much closer to the activity that the FBI is engaging in by disseminating it. That's what the people that produce it do as well.
Yeah, how many FBI agents had profiles on there?
Yeah, to me, this is more along the lines of like officer standing on the corner selling drugs and then arresting the people that come to buy the drugs. Like it's just they're putting the crimes out there and then asking people to come partake and then arresting everybody that comes.
Bait car.
But they're doing it bad. They're not even making all the arrests that they should be. They're losing so many people and they manage to probably harm people. I mean, really, these images, once they spread, they keep spreading. Probably. And if they started at this site, they're harming people.
Probably, huh?
Yeah, it's both entrapment and victimizing the consumers of a product rather than the people who make it. You know, like the police, did really well off of victimizing meth users back in the day, but didn't do such a great job at all at getting to the actual meth producers and distributors.
How are you going to do that, man? I could produce meth and you wouldn't know it. You know what I mean? That's the difficulty in trying to find these people like that.
Yeah,
that's part of, to me, I'm sorry to cut you off, but that part to me is part of what makes the drug war such a failure.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm not saying that they should have gone after that or that they could have ever done it. But the same problem also applies here is that they're not actually addressing people who are victimizing anybody with their crime, but they're just taking the low-hanging fruit to profit from it.
Mm-hmm. Sure, man. It's like going after pot users and shit. The pot users are the ones they know that go quietly and pay the fine.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds to me like they have way too much free time on their hands.
Well, there's no doubt about that, man.
Maybe we can cut some of their funding.
That would be a wise idea. Stop paying.
Well, we're going to go to our final story of the night. We were going to have Brian on. He is unavailable. But the
jail, is he?
No, but he was.
They're fresh out, yeah.
Brian.
I don't know. I thought maybe they changed their minds and took him back.
Yeah, you like that? I got cool effects on my soundboard. So yeah, Brian was arrested. As soon as they had, no sooner did they decide to call it quits for the Mac tour and just to go home and start fresh in a few months, Brian was home cop blocking as he usually does. And the story reads, I was dragged to a cage by 3 Clovis police officers while out cop blocking. With 3 of my friends that had just joined up to film police all day Sunday. The town of Clovis is a yuppie area with a lot of money in it. Clovis police are known for harassing people over their appearance. I heard more than one story about Clovis police serving up a beatdown and telling whoever is on the receiving end, go to Fresno. They are not fond of anyone who uses alternative transportation. I have witnessed the harassment of cyclists on multiple occasions on Clovis Ave. We were driving north, headed to the Old Town area, where the bars are. A police cruiser passed in front of us, headed down Boulevard Ave. We decided to follow it, hoping for an opportunity to film. Just as soon as we pulled in behind the cruiser, the officer made a left on Pulowski and quickly turned up the small apartment complex. By the time we had parked, we walked over The officer and a couple guys on skateboard. The officer had a couple guys on skateboards detained. After the interaction was over, they told us that the police stopped them because they thought they said "fuck the cops." Skateboarding is not a crime, and neither is saying "f the police." It's pretty much indisputable that the officers lacked probable cause. After they let the guys go, they approached us. From their body language, I knew one of us was going to jail, most likely me. I was aware of a potential bench warrant for missing a court date last year, and the officers' behavior at the scene made it apparent that they ran checks on us. These officers know we aren't the type to go around victimizing people and merely ran us hoping the outcome would permit them to harass us. They asked if I was Brian. I decided to answer. Then the officer grabbed me, dragged me over to the car, and one of them said, "You should have a warrant, but you never produced one." I was taken to Clovis County Police Department, where I was cited and released. When I was brought back to the jail, I had a small amount of cannabis medication in my pocket. The officers attempted to throw the smuggling charge at me for failing to report the medicine, but after producing a cannabis recommendation, they decided better of it. When I was released, the entire station smelled like cannabis, and they knew that they would smell my weed after I left. It was a small victory. That's pretty funny. And the story goes on, so if you want to read the rest of that story, it's at CopBlock.org right now.
I wish he was here to explain what that means, that he showed him a medical recommendation. I mean, we can guess at what it means.
Well, California has medical marijuana, so what happened was they thought it was illegal, and he had a medical card allowing him to use it.
Yeah.
So
apparently, I guess you only need to show a doctor's recommendation that you should be smoking it in order to, be able to say, yes, I have the right, or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Well, we're wrapping up the end of our show. It's our first week back on LRN. We want to say hello and thank you for all the listeners for hanging in there. We are back. We're only going to get better. We have to get a little more equipment for our calls. But we have a great show next week already started to be planned. You can find us online. I'm at Lehigh Valley CopBlock. Dio is at CopBlock.org/store and Cleveland CopBlock, correct?
Greater Cleveland CopBlock.
And what about you, Josh?
You can find me at on Facebook and online at advancedape.com and unicornworld.org, as well as CopBlock.
Well, thank you, Josh, for joining us. Thank you, Dio, for another great show.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Yeah, make sure you visit the CopBlock.org/store for all your items. Go to the App Store and get Cell 411. And tune back in next week as we have a brand new, fresh show for you guys.
Hey, well, thanks for having me, guys.
And we are out.
Cool. Take the live off.
You know what might be a cool future feature for you guys to run for this is to sort of maybe have an open chat afterwards, like a open hangout that people can join or whatnot.
It's midnight, bro. I'm ready to go to bed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's midnight. It is a good idea, but
I'm a late nighter, so that doesn't even occur to me.
Turn the live feed off.
Yeah, I got it.